think of Nature Pro, I think of things which are sustainable, which are more nature friendly.
Right,
How did that
right.
shift happen there?
So while this seed was planted in me that I wanted to start something of my own, right? So again, this is, I don't know if a lot of people are gonna like this. I literally shut myself in my room for 6 months, right? Doing research on ingredients all across the world. Okay. Ukraine is the world's largest producer of A grade sunflower oil. We used to import solidified sunflower oil from Ukraine. So imagine we used to buy it for X rupees, right? When the war started, the price became 3x.
Hey, hi Mohit, how are you doing? And first of all, thank you so much for coming on to the Road Ahead Talk Show. And it's so nice to host you today and your brand Nature Pro on Road Ahead Talks.
Thank you so much, Vijeta. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for inviting me on the show, right? I've watched a few episodes of your show, and it's really incredible what you guys are trying to do and showcase the journey of founders and entrepreneurs like me, how we're trying to build innovative products and brands in this competitive market. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that's the mission that we are on. That we want to make sure that a very niche set of people who are either planning to start their own company, at the same time, a set of investors, right, to whom these podcasts are sent, so that they're able to understand the story behind. I mean, the human behind the brand is
Right.
also very important. So that's the target audience that we usually focus on. So great, welcome to the show, Mohit, and it is very pleasure to host you today. What I would like to really, because I was going through your product, Nature Pro, was fascinated what you have on your website, saw it getting hosted on so many different marketplaces. But before I go there, I want to really understand the person behind this brand. At the same time, your journey, starting from your engineering days to where you are today.
Right. Vijeta, so a little bit about myself, right? About my background. I'm just a normal person with a computer science engineering degree with a fascination and idea to build something good. No, good not only for myself and my team, but also for our consumers, right? And that is exactly when the idea of Nature Pro popped into my head, right? So, if you look at one thing in the beauty personal care industry in India, right, the rules and regulations are not that stringent. If you look at other developed countries like the US, Canada, or Australia, or even the European Union, right, there are a lot of rules and regulations that companies have to stick to, be it the marketing claims they have, be the formulation that they're using, right?
Hmm.
So our idea behind Nature Pro was to come up with a very transparent sort of a brand, okay, where we are able to educate the consumer about what ingredient is going into the product, right? What is the exact doses or the percentage of ingredient that are going into our products, right? And at the same time, we wanted to eliminate any kind of toxins that are being used in the industry. So I'm proud to tell you that we have done a very thorough research on 60 plus toxins that are being used in the market in India today,
Hmm.
and we do not use any of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great.
So yeah, please tell me.
So we will come to the Nature Pro part. Um,
Yeah.
so while this idea came to you, was it always the first idea? Because usually entrepreneurs have a lot of thoughts and ideas and do a lot of stuff before they actually get to that pivotal moment. So what has been your journey before you started Nature Pro?
So Vijeta, post my engineering, I have worked with a MNC company for 6 months as a consultant, right? Post that, I quit my job and I started my first venture, which was into the grocery delivery space back in 2015. But all of us know that India is a very price sensitive market. People would obviously choose pricing over convenience, right?
Mm.
So that did not work out for us back in 2015. And post that, there was another idea about building an aggregator platform for salons, right? Where people could book online services into any of their preferred salons and go get the service done, right? But again, that did not work out for us, right? So, you know what? A lot of people feel that entrepreneurs who get success or are successful have got it at one shot. I would like to remind people that we've failed multiple times to build what we build today or what we're still building, right? So again, I feel as wise people have already told, right? Failures are the pillar to your success, right? I think all of that as a child, I never thought, what are these people talking about? Failures are pillars to success and all. But right now, when I'm really, like, experiencing it, personally experiencing it in my past that I've experienced it, I feel that's a very strong phrase that wise people have told us, right?
Mm.
And learning from these failures have brought me to building Nature Pro and what we're doing at Nature Pro.
So,
Yes,
what were these learnings as an entrepreneur of an online, quick delivery grocery store, which in 2015, I mean, it was a novel idea at that time. I mean, we are
right.
seeing so many quick commerce companies
Come up now.
rocking
Yeah,
the show right now, right? And you started this in
absolutely,
2015, and then
absolutely.
aggregator portal for salons. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure you would have a lot of learnings around it. If you can share some with our audiences.
absolutely. So, Vijeta, one very strong learning that I have got is you just cannot build anything that you like. Okay, first, the you have to understand the consumer needs, right? When we built the grocery delivery startup, although there was a need for consumers to get grocery delivered at their house, but the need was not that big, right? So it was not that huge that it would actually scale up so fast or become a successful company, right? People still had a lot of time to go to the nearby kirana store and get their groceries, right?
Right.
I think that was one of the major learnings that we had. Second, I would say is again, it's not only about the consumer, right? If your supply side of things are not correct or are not in place, then
Mm-hmm.
no matter, even if you have the best product in the world, you won't be able to sell it to your consumer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think these are two very important learnings that I've had from my failed ventures, right? From my failures. Yeah. And that is what we've tried to correct or mitigate while building Nature Pro.
That's so wonderful. And people go to B schools to learn all of these things, I mean, understanding your customers, understanding the market needs, and even, talking about the beauty lies in execution. So, this is what you're speaking about. I mean, when you were talking about streamlining the supply chain, it is absolutely
Absolutely.
essential because whatever idea that you're trying to market, what you're trying to build, unless you are able to execute and make it successful for your customers, it won't become successful, right? So
Absolutely.
and you with your two ventures, you were able to typically get your masters completed there.
So, Vijay, there's this very funny thing I would like to tell you, right? So, when I got into the B school, it's called Xavier's Institute of Management in Bhubaneswar,
Mm.
falls in one of the top 10 private B schools.
Yes.
They were about to reject my application. Okay.
Mm.
So, and I was really sort of frustrated. What's happening with me? I did get a 96.2 percentile. Why are they not taking me? They did not want me in because they saw that I've left the job in at a very good MNC in 6 months. They were
Mm.
like, you're not consistent. You left your job and all. But a really good thing happened when I told them about my failed ventures, right?
Mm.
And then they asked me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I told them that I would see myself building something else in the next 5 years, right? And not working for another company. I think this is when they actually took me in, or else I would not be a B school graduate. So that's there. Yeah.
That's a lovely story. That's an amazing story. So great. So these startups happened for you. Then you went to the B school. But when did
Yeah.
this thought of Nature Pro came to you? When did you feel that okay, now this is it? this is what I'm building, and this is something which I should be able to, you know, make it into a very valuable, successful proposition. And how did that happen? How did that seed came into your thoughts from seed to what it is today? If you can take me
Right,
through
right,
that
right.
journey.
Yeah, sure. So Vijeta, this was back in 2019 when the whole world was hit by COVID, right? I was working as an associate vice president for business development at a edtech startup in Bangalore. Okay. I don't know if I can name the startup, but let's just call it a startup, edtech startup, right? So I was working for this startup, and suddenly, this was in Bangalore. I was working in Bangalore, and my hometown is in Bhubaneswar, Odisha, right?
Mm,
And suddenly there was a very big demand for hand sanitizers all across the country, right? So, and then as I've mentioned to you earlier than this podcast, that my family has been into manufacturing of beauty and cosmetic products, right? So I call up my dad and I ask him that there's a huge demand of hand sanitizers. What are we doing about it, right? So he's like, I'm not doing anything. I'm a retired person. I don't want to do anything about it. Then I'm like, what can I do about it? Then he told me very clearly that there's some ethyl alcohol lying in the factory, okay, with some hydrogen peroxide. Now,
mm,
these two ingredients are the main ingredients for your hand sanitizer, right? So, when everything was shut down and people were asked to work from home, right? I came back and I sort of single-handedly manufactured close to about 200 liters of hand sanitizer. Okay, just to see. I mean, I did not have to buy anything, right? It was already there. We also had some packaging material in form of plastic bottles, right?
mhm,
PET bottles. So I thought I'll just manufacture. Okay, I put up any sort of a random sticker. Okay,
mm,
XYZ sticker and give it some name. Okay. And then I hired two interns from Bhubaneswar itself. And we started going around the streets, right? Going to medicine stores, going to hospitals, going to hotels, going to nursing homes. And we pitched them that this is a sort of a locally made hand sanitizer. And we're giving it out at a 50% lesser cost than what you're getting in the market. Would you like to try this, right? And they did not buy initially and took samples of it, right? So
mm.
in I think in 3 4 days time we got a lot of orders, and in the next 10 days we were able to sell off the whole 200 liters. Okay,
Wow. Mm,
so this is exactly when I thought ki I think this is a good time to start something of my own, right?
mm,
Because till then I was into business development, right? So I
mm.
was selling products that were built by others, right? This is something that I had built on my own for the first time. And I was really happy that we were able to sell it off in the next 10, 12 days, right? It was really a very fascinating thing for me, right? This is exactly when I thought that, I should go back to what family business we have, right? Get things started again, hire people who used to work with us earlier, right? And this is when exactly I thought was the right time to start Nature Pro.
Wonderful. 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 And then from there, see, here I'm listening to methyl alcohol and hand sanitizer. From there, moving into more sustainability part, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when I think of Nature Pro, I think of things which are sustainable, which are more nature friendly.
Right,
How did that
right,
shift happen there?
right. So Vijeta, while this seed was planted in me that I wanted to start something of my own, right? So again, this is I don't know if a lot of people are gonna like this. I literally shut myself in my room for 6 months, right? Doing research on ingredients all across the world. Okay. I had the internet to myself. I did not move out of my room. People were like, have you gone mad? Why are you not socializing? Why are you not meeting people? And I just used to tell them one thing, that I think I like spending time with myself. This is the only thing I told them. I never told them that I'm researching or anything on those grounds, right? So I did very extensive research for 6 months, right? To understand what ingredients should go into products to make them sustainable, right? So if you see, a lot of brands talk about building clean beauty products, right? When they say clean beauty products, they mean it's good for your skin, good for the person that is using it, but they're not sure if the product is good for the environment, right?
Mm,
We wanted to think both for the people and for the planet, right? So
mm,
yeah, obviously people come first for us, but that does not mean that the planet does not come for us. So that was the kind of a thought process that I had, right?
mm,
In fact, during the first batch of manufacturing of our products, right, we met with a small problem. We do not use any sort of copolymers in our products or our cross polymers, right?
mm.
Copolymers and cross polymers are microplastics,
Yeah.
right? So I had this very strict rule as a founder that no matter what, we are not going to use it. And my R&D team was baffled. They were like, Mohit, what are you saying? If we do not use any cross polymer or copolymer, we are not going to get the texture in the product, right? A product has a particular texture, right? And these copolymers are used for that, for thickening as thickening agents and texturizing agents, right?
Yep.
We sort of had to do 1 month of thorough research
Mm,
to find a plant-based monomer in Brazil, right? And get that imported from Brazil to India so that we can use it in our product.
mm.
We still do that.
Wow.
So, yeah, I feel this is how we've kept ourselves aligned to sustainability.
But doesn't that impact your overall costs of manufacturing?
Absolutely, Vijeta, it does, right? In fact, not only this, a lot of other factors. So, if you remember, there's this Ukraine Russia war going on, right? Yeah. So initially, when the war started, it was a very costly affair for us. One
Mm,
of our best-selling products, the Volumist hair oil, Restore hair oil that we have, we use sunflower oil as a base. Okay.
okay.
And Ukraine is the world's largest producer of A-grade sunflower oil. We used to import solidified sunflower oil from Ukraine. So imagine we used to buy it for X rupees, right? When the war started, the price became 3x. But if the MRP of a hair oil was Y, we could not sell it for 3Y,
Yeah.
right? The consumer would not buy it, right?
Yeah.
So yes, we did take a lot of hit on the costing because of that.
Mm,
But again, I feel if we are able to provide good value to consumers and help solve their problems, right? Eventually, all of these costly affairs that we have around the ingredients
mm,
would be sort of fixed by the volumes that we do. So I think it's a volumes game in a consumer brand.
mm.
Yeah.
I would like to know because we're speaking about cost and pricing.
Yeah.
Market is crowded, lot of competitors.
Yeah.
Costs are high because of good ingredients. How do you manage your pricing to make sure that you are still profitable at the same time the customers stick to your brand?
So, Vijay, the one thing we've always seen is we do not spend a lot on paid advertising. Okay. So, if you look at D2C brands in India, majority of the D2C brands are loss making. And if you look at their account statements or financials, you will find that the red mark goes to the advertising or marketing cost, right? So we have had a very different strategy around it, right? So every time we get a loyal customer to ourselves, right, we do not we do not rely on paid advertising. We ask that consumer to give us a real testimonials, right? We invite the consumer to our office in Bangalore, right? It's a whole short podcast that we do with that consumer. How did you like our product? What did you like about it? Would you like to refer it to other people, right? And that is what we use in form of marketing to our new consumers or customers also, right? So I think that has helped us a lot, right? Apart from that, we again a lot of people say that packaging is also very costly these days, right? So what we've done is we use similar packaging for a lot of products, right?
Mm,
So imagine we have a shampoo called the Amino shampoo, Volumist Amino shampoo. Okay, the same bottle and pump are also used for the conditioner and body wash, right? So that is how we are able to cut down on the cost factor,
mm,
right? Again, if I tell you for the hair oil, we are launching a new range of products, right? into the skin category. We are launching serums. Okay, so we saw this thing that our best selling product is the hair oil,
Hmm.
which we sell in glass bottles with a dropper. Okay, so from a organization or from a company perspective, what we did was we thought of coming up with serums that also have the similar packaging or the same packaging. So what that enables us is we do not spend a ton of money into different kinds of packaging, right? It's the same bottle. We ordered it for the hair oil. We're going to use it for the serums also,
Yeah.
right? So I think this is where the sort of we are able to cut down on our costs. Yeah.
Got it. If I was supposed to ask you, like, uh, in less than a minute, if you're supposed to be saying that, um, when it comes to competition based pricing, how do you handle your competition and the pricing along that?
So, Vijeta, we do not sort of look into the pricing of our competitors. Okay, we rather look into what kind of value we are giving to our customer or the consumer.
Mm.
Will the consumer be okay to pay X amount for the value he is getting? Right. So that is what we focus on when it comes to our pricing strategy. Right. So if you look at our shampoo, the amino shampoo is priced at close to 799 rupees in India right now. Our shampoo, Nature Pro Volumist Amino Shampoo. If you look at any other amino shampoo in the market, the minimum pricing that you'll get is of close to about 1600, 1700 rupees, which is double the sort of pricing that we have, right? And why we've been able to do that is again because the packaging material cost is lower,
Mm.
the advertising cost is lower for us because we do not go all gaga around paid advertising on Facebook and YouTube and others, right? We prefer doing more organic stuff.
Mm.
So that's how we do it. And again, I think as a brand, we never want to sort of look into our competitors' pricing, right? Because if we are creating products that are much better than the competition, right? So we'll only look at the value that it is giving to the consumer. And if the consumer is okay paying X amount for that value, if the consumer comes back to us and tells us, no, I'm not happy with the value that you're giving us at X amount, right? It would be better if you price it at 20% lesser than X. We would definitely look into it and we would try to solve how we could get at that optimal pricing for our consumer. Yeah.
So, Mohit, in a minute, if you're supposed to be telling me, how do you educate your customer to make that first purchase of Nature Pro from
Right.
on a Flipkart? How do you do that?
So Vijeta, the for the customer to buy first time for us, right? We educate them through social media. We educate them through our website. We give the full details of all the ingredients that are being used in the product. Along with that, we are also very transparent about how much quantity of those ingredients have been used. I think this is a major factor for the first time buyers that buy from us. Yeah.
How are you leveraging technology in your retail business as a brand to build a stronger and a longer existence?
Absolutely. So, Vijayta, we use technology a lot. So, in fact, when ChatGPT was not available in India, also, my team was using VPN to access ChatGPT. Okay. And not only that, we train GPT models around our products and R&D also. So my R&D team also uses GPT for a fact. So we give GPT a lot of inputs that this is the product. We give a lot of case study materials to GPT to analyze, right?
Mm.
And then we ask GPT. So let's say if we are launching a serum, right?
Mm.
Ask GPT if we should be launching serums with multiple ingredients or single ingredient, right? So if you look into serums, there's only vitamin C, or you can see vitamin C plus hyaluronic acid, right? And we told GPT that probably this is for first time users of serums, right? What do you do? GPT clearly told us that you should come up with single ingredient serums and not multiple ingredient ones, right? I think technology has been a forefront for businesses like us, right? it has given us a lot of leverage to go compete against larger brands like the Hindustan Unilevers of the world, right?
Mm.
And yes, when we created our first website, I did not had a full-fledged team. It was me behind a laptop, right, building the whole website out,
Yeah.
probably in a week's time, right? So I think that's what technology has enabled a lot of people to do. Yeah,
So that is about the product, right? How are you leveraging technology when it comes to managing your inventories, planning your supply chain?
absolutely. Vijeta, because we are a digital first brand, right? We use technology in every aspect, right? Be it supply chain, be it inventory, be it marketing, social media, copywriting, content creation, all of that, right? So specifically answering your questions in terms of inventory, we use a low cost ERP tool and a CRM tool, right? So the CRM tool is for the customer front that we use to understand how many orders are being placed, and the ERP again is connected to the CRM to figure out if we are able to meet the customer demands, right? So we use a low cost ERP tool again built in India, right? The founder of that company is also a close friend. That's how we get a little bit discounts from them also on a recurring basis. So yeah, we use ERP and CRM tools for these purposes.
Wonderful. Now talking about customers, right?
Yeah,
Customer sentiments are very important because customer is the king, especially in retail, right?
yeah,
Uh, where customer decides whether the product has to be successful or not because it works for them or not, right? So
absolutely.
how do you make sure that you are reading and being most closer to your consumer and listening to their voices?
Absolutely. So, Vijeta, we follow a three-step process to understand our customer, right? First, we have a few tools where we do a lot of heat mapping on our website. We actually see where the customer is spending time on our website, right? And accordingly, we keep on revamping our product pages so that the customer is aware of what the product is, right? We do that. That is the first step. The second step is we try to understand the customer's journey through our whole website, right? Why the customer is placing the order? What did the customer like that he or she is placing the order, right? Would the customer like a COD method of payment? Or if the customer would like a prepaid method of payment, right? So we do all of that. This is the second step of understanding the customer journey. The third, what we do is we have a telecalling team. Okay, especially for customer experience, we like to call it the customer experience team, right? So we call the customer the moment they place the order. We call them first to confirm their order. Second, when the order is dispatched, although we send WhatsApp messages, SMS, email, and all of that, I believe calling them personally has a different level of sort of experience for the customer, right? So they're speaking to someone who's real, right? And people in India want to do that a lot of times,
Yeah.
right? We have a telecalling customer experience team that calls them when the order is placed, when the order is dispatched, when the order is about to be delivered in 1 day's time, right? Day before the delivery, and then we call them after 15 days of the order has been delivered to understand if they've been using the product and what effects and what changes they felt after using the product. Okay. Not only that, we also give them another call after 30 days to understand if they liked our product and take a complete feedback if they want to see any changes in the product.
Mm.
So I'll just take one more minute to tell you this amazing thing that happened with us. When we launched the brand, our hair oil had a pump. It did not have a dropper. The
Okay.
glass bottle had a pump. So you pump and then you get the hair oil on your palms, right? So we did a customer survey with close to 150 people, right? Out of which I think 95 people told us that the hair oil that you're sending us has leakage. Okay. So what we did, we have a warehouse in Bangalore. So I shipped one herald from Bangalore to my house back in Bhubaneswar to understand ki why this leakage is happening, right? And then I flew down from Bangalore to Bhubaneswar to open the packet myself and see why there was a leakage. Okay. Then we figured out that a lot of these logistic companies, these delivery companies, they do not take great care of the packages. Okay. Right. So with this movement of packages, there was a leakage. Okay. So we suddenly took 7 days time and changed the packaging. We removed the pump and put in a dropper that was completely sealed off. And since then, there has been no complaints about leakage of a hair oil. So I think understand consumer needs is a never-ending process. We should be at it always.
That's a wonderful story. That's a wonderful story. Now, if now speaking as a brand, as part of the Indian retail industry, where do you think we are heading towards? What does future of Indian retail, Indian brands look like in next 5 years?
All right. Vijay, I think in the next 5 years, there is going to be a omnipresent shift. Okay. So I'll tell you, a lot of people, a lot of brands think that they should only sell at metro cities and tier one cities. Okay. But myself being a founder over the last 1 year, I think 60 to 65% of our sales have come from tier two, tier three cities. Right. So tier two, tier three city people also have the spending power. Okay. The only thing that they do not have is trust on brands. So India is a very trust deficit country, right? So if you are able to solve that problem of trust, right? I think the retail industry in India is not is 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 already one of the largest in the world, right? But it is even going to be more larger if we are able to cater to the tier two, tier three audience, right? And there's going to be a massive shift towards tier two and tier three. You can look at brands like Carrot Lane and all opening in tier two, tier three cities, right? Why do you think that is happening? Because they are understanding that there's a shift happening where people in tier two, tier three cities are also buying products, new age brands and products. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a major shift. Apart from that, I it's going to be a sort of a very good mix of digital and physical, right? So you in today's world, or probably in the next 5 years, you cannot call yourself a solely digital or a digital native brand. No, if you're not present on the countertops or the shelves, right, then you're missing out on a very big number of customers that you can get actually.
Mm.
So I think these two are very permanent changes or sort of improvements that I see in the retail industry.
How are Gen Zs as consumers?
All right. So that's a difficult question now. So initially, when we launched Nature Pro, we thought of targeting these Gen Z people, okay, the Gen Z audience. But again, that did not work out for us. Okay, so Gen Z did not become our consumers, but people sort of aged between 30 to 45, 50 became our customers. Okay, and we made peace with it. We, as a whole team, were like, okay, fine. If these people are buying, then we focus on these people. Now, coming to Gen Z, I feel Gen Z have a very impulsive sort of purchasing behavior, right? So even if they do not know what the product is, but they like the name of the product, right? They're just gonna buy it. Okay. For instance, I'll give you a very good example. A relative of mine who has a younger daughter who's in seventh grade. Okay, she absolutely did not know what a hyaluronic acid serum is. Okay, but she saw the brand called Dot in Key again in the beauty and personal care space, and she was so intrigued by the name Dot in Key. Okay, sounds like a very cool name. She just went ahead and made the purchase, and her mother, who's my cousin sister, was like, "What is this? Why are you buying? Do you even know that you're not supposed to use these products until unless you reach a certain age, right?" But she was like, "Mom, I love the name of the product. Look at it, Dot and Key." So I just thought I'll buy and the packaging. So I feel Gen Z is also attracted towards packaging. So if your packaging is really up to the mark, right? Very funky, quirky, bright colors, then I think it'll attract the Gen Z audience for sure. Yeah.
Wonderful. Mohit, it was so nice. It didn't even feel like we have spoken for more than 30 minutes. It's been wonderful to talk to you, to know so much about your product, and more than that, about your journey, and so many learnings that have come across. And I'm pretty sure many of our audiences would have had a lovely journey as well listening to this podcast. So, Mohit, with that, thank you so much for coming over to Road Ahead Talk Show, and it has been a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you so much, Vijeta, for having me on the show. I hope your audience is gonna like the podcast or what we spoke about, right? And I just wanted to add something here, right? A lot of brands think as consumer brands they cannot do anything about sustainability, right? But I feel as a consumer brand, if we are catering to, so over the last 1 year, we catered to close to about a lakh consumers. Okay. I feel if we are able to send out the message loud and clear to these lakh people
Mm,
and they like your product and the sustainability around your product and brand, then through word of marketing, they're going to spread the word to at least another person, right?
yes.
So every person spreading it to one more person, that is there 2 lakh people talking about sustainability, understanding the effects of sustainability, right? So I think consumer brands should focus on sustainability and try to educate their audiences or consumers on it. I think with that I would like to close this. Yeah,
Absolutely. I'm completely in agreement with you with that. And I'm pretty sure this idea of sustainability will click with the Gen Zs as well. Right. So
absolutely should click
it should. It
because
should.
as they say, we have only one planet, right?
Yes.
So
Great. Thank you so
cool.
much, Mohit. It was a pleasure to host you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vijeta. Thanks.